Well, here it is, Christmas again, almost. Walt Whitman called it the sweet season. But all time is Christmas time. The temporal day, what does Christmas stand for? What does it mean? It marks that time in our affairs when the Christ light was consciously awakened to. Christmas, the temporal day itself, merely marks the Christ light awakened to and recognized. Not an historic Christ indwelling a finite body, but the light of Christ, the truth of identity. Christmas marks our recognition of this fact. It's our own day. It's our own holy day. It's our own whole day. It's our own holiday supreme. Indwelling light, being all, light of all, light of each, light of everyone and everything. The day itself, that December day, is no more unique than any other day. Every moment is truth's moment. And you know, every season marks the Christ in some special way. Take this moment, for instance. Outside, I see a yellow leaf falling softly, silently. It's a little tree's gift to the earth. Spirit's reciprocity. But now, this is not to deny that there's a very special happiness about the holiday season. It seems a time when a greater portion of our tangible selfhood begins to think of others. It's a time when we subdue that old fictitious Ebenezer for a spell. It's a time when we take time to put twinkles on the branches of green cedars and into the eyes of little tiny Tims. This is the time that we acknowledge and admit and respond to the twinkle in the gentle eyes of agelessness. This, of all seasons, can be a time when our lonely ones can be shown that lonely means only, and that alone means all one. Jesus spoke of the kingdom of heaven as a movement and a rest. Well, yes, this is the season for coming home. This is the season of the prodigal's return, wherein he finds that he has never really been away. This is the time when family and friends gather around the hearth. Somehow, heart and hearth go together, don't they? Just like laughter and tears go together. The same way warm embraces and runny red noses are a part of the holiday scene. And while this is a time for that, it is always a time for that. Because when is a twinkle out of season? When are tears of happiness out of stock? And when is love light, not the living teacher on the scene? And what is the passing of years but the child lived longer? So, this season, while the trees rest and friends and families come together again, we take special note of the peace on earth that this now moment is. This holy now. This whole now. We know that the tassels and tinsel and plum pudding and red noses are all for us. They're for us. When we walk through the decorated department stores, all of those decorations are for us. When we see the Christmas finery all over the world, it's for us, for our own recognition and awakening to the Christ child within. Spirit is the spirit of Christmas. And spirit is the I of us. All the disputes and desolation in the world are peace made plain upon the table. We live them and call them by their right name. We know that the need for warfare's delineation is ended. We live the Christ light of love we are. And in so doing, the millennium, the fabled millennium, continues. And among still other things, Christmas is a twinkling tree and a catch in the voice. Christmas is an unexpected gift given or received. Christmas is an old friend's smile and a new friend's laughter. Christmas is a deep breath and a sigh. Two puffs of feathers huddled on a snowy branch. And sometimes, two hearts in tune, two hearts beating as one, two children drifting aimlessly on an uncharted river together. And speaking of drifting on the river, many of you will remember the days I lived aboard Lollygog. For 10 years, the notes from Lollygog were written aboard a little houseboat on the Coosa River called Lollygog. Now, the affairs of Rachel and me are such that it would seem very wise to go back down to the primal river of life and there spend time again on the river. So now, another little houseboat is coming to our affairs. Her name is Aimless. Sweet Aimless. That has neither motive nor aim nor destination. Sweet Aimless. And as the days go on and as time passes, you'll hear from us, from Aimless. We'll let you hear the sounds of the early morning on the river. We'll let you hear the wind through the trees along the banks. We'll let you hear the bullfrogs and the crickets, and maybe the fish jumping, maybe even the night cry of the loons. That's a promise. But Rachel and I will be going back down to the Coosa River for a time. About rivers, Emerson wrote these lovely words. The river knows the way to the sea. Without a pilot, it runs and falls, blessing all sands with its charity. And Robert Louis Stevenson, in a little poem, infinitely more complex than its simple word sound, writes, "Dark brown is the river, golden is the sand. It flows on forever with trees on either hand, green leaves a-floating, castles on the foam, boats of mine a-floating. When will all come home? On goes the river and out past the mill, away down the valley, away down the hill, away down the river 100 miles or more. Other little children shall bring my boats ashore." And, of course, you might guess that Thoreau would mention rivers. I conclude this short tape to you with these words from Thoreau. And oh, how I mean them. As I love nature, as I love singing birds and gleaming stubble and flowing rivers, and morning, and evening, and summer, and winter, I love thee, my friend. I love thee.